Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and to the new viewers. This is the Gérann Gerber channel. I'm Gérann Gerber, your host, and today we're going to continue with Darth Bane, part 2, which is called the Rule of Two. Now, before we start, I would encourage you to like and subscribe to my channel, my social media, and my Patreon. And let's get started. Enjoy. Darth Bane, the Rule of Two. This is awesome. Yeah. These battle sequences are fantastic. I love that helmet. As I said before, this is World War II with Star Wars.
After the first invasions, the fires never truly went out. Battlefields hardened into trenches, forests into fortresses of fog and mud.
Help me up.
The Jedi lines held, disciplined and unmoving, while the Brotherhood's victories yielded no resolution, only more ground to maintain. Losses mounted quietly on both sides, bodies and machines consumed without progress. The war refused to conclude.
Yeah, love the formation.
Their outer lines haven't moved in days.
They're burning power to keep them there.
Shield coverage is uneven. See these gaps?
They close them as soon as we test them. Someone's holding the pieces together.
If that control breaks, the war ends fast, one way or the other.
They said the line would break by now.
It hasn't.
That means they're changing something.
Or someone. Let's go.
Command's holding rotations longer.
then we hold longer.
Rotation was supposed to thin them out.
It has, just not the way Command expected.
The forward shield nodes are overheating again. They were never meant to stay active this long. If they drop, the Republic will see the gaps. Then keep them alive at any cost.
Whoa, this is awesome.
The relays are back online, but they won't hold much longer.
Then the war ends before they fail.
The war on Rusan did not end with conquest. It only slowed, thickened, and sank into the world itself. Sith camps filled with the wounded. Commanders searched for answers that never came, and faith in overwhelming numbers began to erode. Control tightened. Unity was enforced. What once felt like strength became weight. The Brotherhood still stood together, but standing together now cost more than it returned.
Lord Khan?
Hold the line. Unity will end this war.
They misunderstand what unity means.
We outnumber them, we outlast them.
Then why does it feel like the war is closing in instead of ending?
Because this world demands conclusion.
And we intend to give it one.
They're not advancing. Lord Hoth, do we continue rotations? The Sith believe power ends wars. We will prove endurance does. Just hold.
And within that unending pressure, as Rusan devoured patience and certainty alike, another presence began to move toward the war. Not to fight it, but to understand it. When he arrived, he did not join the charge. He watched. The Brotherhood marched forward because it knew no other direction, blind to the fact that every step diluted what little strength remained. While others shouted triumph, Dessel remained silent, seeing only exhaustion dressed as unity. As the war dragged on, command began to fracture. Khan felt control slipping, not through defeat, but through strain. Among the Dark Lords, doubt surfaced quietly, unspoken but shared. Orders grew sharper, more desperate. Unity was no longer inspired, it was enforced. Sith turned against Sith openly now, authority colliding instead of flowing. And in that collapse of command, Dessel saw the end with absolute clarity. Whispers of an ancient solution resurfaced, fragments of a ritual remembered not as history, but as salvation. Khan embraced finality, mistaking extinction for transcendence. The Brotherhood accepted the doctrine not because it was wise, but because it was complete. Faith replaced reason, and preparation gave way to inevitability. What they built was not a weapon of war, but a solution that consumed the problem by consuming everything. When the Sith gathered one last time, it was not to rule, but to disappear. And in that moment, Dessel made his choice. He did not argue, he did not warn, he walked away. Step by step, He put distance between himself and the ritual, between survival and obedience. As the chamber sealed and belief reached its peak, Dessel stood apart, waiting. Not in fear, not in doubt, but in certainty. This was the moment before silence.
I love these battle sequences. They are awesome but brutal.
Convergence state ready. Secondary failsafes disengaged. Ritual core synchronized. Final authorization required. Final authorization required.
This is awesome.
Final authorization confirmed. Convergence initiated.
Whoa, what's happening? What's happening?
Across the galaxy, the shock was felt. Jedi paused mid-breath, sensing a vast emptiness where thousands of voices had been. Not destruction, not chaos. Only a void, so complete it could not be questioned. Force screamed across Ruusan, not as sound, but as annihilation. In a single instant, every living presence within reach was torn away, leaving silence where will and purpose had existed moments before. When the echo faded, the battlefield remained, but life did not. Records were sealed. The Sith were declared extinct. History closed the chapter and moved on, confident the darkness had ended itself. One survived where the many failed. From the ashes of Ruusan, a single will endured. One who understood the truth the Brotherhood never could.
Love this.
The war ended, and the galaxy moved on. Worlds rebuilt, borders stabilized, and life resumed its familiar rhythm. For most, the conflict became history. Within the Jedi Temple, the war was finalized. Records were closed, Holocron sealed. The conflict was categorized, resolved, and set aside. In the the Senate, declarations followed. The new Sith Wars were declared over. Stability was proclaimed restored. And then the final judgment was made. The Sith were declared extinct. But belief is not truth. Far from the core worlds, beyond corrupted wilderness and forgotten paths, one survivor remained. He did not rebuild. He did not strike. He vanished. Silence became his defense. Isolation his strength. No witnesses followed him. No traces remained. He traveled without identity, through places where names held no meaning, and history was never asked.
Out of service.
On Somov Rit, the war had never truly ended. Industry lay dead, settlements fractured, and survival replaced hope.
Almost looks like Darth Maul.
Was a child untouched by fear. She moved through ruin with calm familiarity. Her mind hardened rather than broken. Anger lived within her. Unfocused, contained, waiting. When pressure demanded response, strength surfaced without training, and the world answered before she understood why. That moment did not go unnoticed. Their first encounter passed without words. He remained distant. She sensed something without knowing what it was. Power revealed itself unintentionally. Emotion escaped restraint, and the environment responded. Pain followed, but it did not weaken her. It sharpened her. Then control emerged. Anger was no longer leaking. It was being used. The world responded not with chaos, but with balance. The test was never spoken, but it had begun. The offer was made without promise. No reward was described, no future guaranteed. Only the suggestion of a path, spoken without explanation. She was not told who he was, nor what he intended. The test began before she realized it had started. When she chose to leave, there was no farewell. She did not look back. The past was not mourned. It was severed. On Ambria, instruction began without mercy. No lessons were explained. No techniques demonstrated. persist beyond death. Ancient echoes confirmed it had been attempted before. Sith who refused to fade had left scars rather than legacies. Names erased, records destroyed, knowledge fragmented by betrayal and fear. Across the Force, distant worlds answered that realization. Residual shadows, where the dark side lingered long after abandonment. Among those fragments, one name endured where others had been erased. And Dedu, a Sith bound to forbidden survival, his legacy deliberately buried. The trail led to places the Jedi refused to touch.
Wow.
Worlds left unguarded, not cleansed, abandoned to rot in silence. Preparations were made without witnesses, no records, no traces. Departure itself became erasure. Shun revealed itself as a living crucible, a moon where the jungle hunted, where life had been shaped by constant predation and dark side saturation. And beneath the canopy, older than the Republic itself, ruins lay entombed in growth. Creatures born of darkness sensed what Bane carried within him. They did not resist him. They claimed him. The obelisks attached, anchoring themselves through pain so severe it stripped away time and thought. Agony became constant, reshaping endurance into permanence. Where flesh should have failed, living armor formed instead, organic, relentless, inseparable.
Ugh. Whoa.
Zana watched and understood. Power that could not be removed might one day refuse to yield. In Bane's triumph, she saw limitation, and in that realization, the first seed of doubt took root. Bane learned that flesh, no matter how hardened, would always fail. On Shun, he bound himself to pain and survival, trading freedom for protection. On Prakith, the search turned from survival to knowledge. in a vault meant to be forgotten, Bane claimed a holocron that survived by deception rather than defense. And Dedu's legacy offered eternity through domination of essence, but at the cost of stagnation. Immortality preserved the self, but destroyed the future.
Turned away, not because they lacked strength, but because they feared what strength demands. The body fails, armor cracks, flesh rots, pain delays the inevitable. It does not conquer it. I endured because I abandoned the lie of flesh. The self is not the body, the self is will. I bound my will where death could not reach. I did not survive by mercy. I survived by erasure. To exist beyond death, another must cease to exist. Completely. You wear suffering as protection. Effective. Temporary. What I offer is not safety. It is continuation. Those who seek eternity must accept that nothing else may endure. Not allies. Not students, not legacies. Decide what must survive.
The rule tightened, not to grant safety, but to ensure evolution through conflict. Master and apprentice did not walk the same path, and that distance was deliberate.
So that was Darth Bane, The Rule of Two. I really enjoyed it. Once again, the battle sequences are awesome, and it was interesting to see that Khan sacrificed himself and his fellow troops in that battle, and the ships getting destroyed in the process as well. I can't understand why he did that, but as the story went on, no trace of any records had to be revealed. Rain, in turn, becoming Dessel's apprentice, also in the future becoming Darth Zana, was interesting to see, and those bugs creatures crawling on Dessel, well, becoming Bane, was a bit gross, but it was awesome to see. Now the story is really getting interesting, and I absolutely love it. That being said, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, my social media, and my Patreon. And a word of wisdom for today. Children, your future reflects in the way your parents have raised you. So make it a good one. Have a blessed day further, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.